Hello students, we are again back with the next history chapter, and the name of our chapter is Historiography, Indian Tradition. So, in the previous chapter we have studied about, the name of the chapter is Tradition of Indian Historiography. In the previous chapter we have learned about the Western tradition of historiography. Okay, how was the Western tradition? What was the thinking of the Western historiographer? This we have studied in our previous chapter. In this lesson, we will know about the tradition of Indian historiography. What our Indian historians have written, we will study in this chapter. Historiography, first we will see historiography in the ancient period. In the ancient period in India, memories of great deeds of ancestors and mythological lore, also memories of social traditions, transitions, were preserved with the help of oral recital. What do you mean by oral recital? As I have already informed you in the previous chapter that our ancestors were only dependent on the stories, the song, the singing, which has been passed from generation to generation. What the people were listening, they were thinking that this only is the correct thing about the history. This history is only correct. They were not having any fact, they were not having any proof. They were listening whatever their ancestors were telling to us, and they were following it. The inscription on the Harappan seal and other artifacts these are the inscriptions, okay, confirm that Indians has mastered the art of writing as early the 3rd millennium BC or perhaps before that. When we are seeing all this artifacts or these inscriptions, we can say that in many inscriptions we can see that many things are written. That means the Indian people were knowing the writing. Okay, the script, the languages of the script were different, but they were knowing. Okay, they were writing. When we became literate, many scholars came and they gave us the information what was written. So it means that our ancestors were also literate. Okay, they were knowing the many languages, and they were who were not knowing the writing. By inscripting all these things on the rocks, on the caves, on the wall, they used to tell us the story about their past. So these are the inscription before the BC. These are the Harappan script. Okay, these are the Harappan script and the earliest known written documents of historical nature. This is the inscription which is the earliest history. Okay, this is the earliest history. This inscription is this script is the earliest history. Found in India they are dated from 3rd century BC, that is Ashoka Maurya's time. This script is of 3rd century BCE, before Common Era, that is of whose times? Emperor Ashoka's time. These are the script. Okay, they are dated from 3rd centuries BC. Now his edict and inscripted on natural rocks, stone pillars. These inscriptions are on rocks and on pillars. You can see the inscriptions. Okay, so these inscriptions are on rocks and pillars, which belongs to 1st century CE, before 1st century Common Era. Metal images, sculpture and copper plates. Okay, these are the coins, metals, images, sculptures, copper plates. By seeing this also you can see each of the following things are telling some of the story. Coins tells about the era from which the king, the coins belongs to the era of the king or the queen. They implement, when they come into power, they implement their own coin. These are the metal inscriptions, these are the sculptures, and these are inscribed on the copper plates. They provide important historical information. All these things give us information about the that age or that inscription, their languages. Okay, we get to know about the dates of various king dynastic, genealogy, territorial extents. Now by this sculpture, by seeing this all these things, we come to know about various king, which kings have come and they have ruled. We come to know about that. The dynastic genealogy means from generation to generation. Now father is the king. Now again, who will be the king? The son will be the king. After that, his son will be the king. This tells us about the genealogy, generation, territorial extent, which territories the kings were ruling. All this inscription give us all that information. It gave us information about genealogy, territorial extent, administration, how they were ruling, political events, what political events have been taken place at that time. Okay, social organization, climate, famines. All these inscriptions tell us about all these things: the climates, the famines, the social organization, when the people used to organize, socially organize, when the people were coming together. Okay, what were the climate at that time, when famines has come at the that time. That time means in the power of the particular king. Okay, this tells us about all these perspectives of that time. The ancient Indian literature, including the epic Ramayana and Mahabharata, as we have seen, Puranas, Jain and Buddhist texts, historical accounts by the Indian author. Many Indian authors have written about Mahabharata, Ramayana, about the Puranas, Jain, Buddhist texts, historical. These all things are written by the Indian author. They have studied all this thing and then they have written all these things. Okay, we can see now also in the many serials comes in which they show about the stories of the Ramayana, the stories of the Mahabharata. Okay, so these are carried from our ancestor till now. Okay, many changes have been taken place, but it is carried since their time. Then, and also the travelers, by foreign travelers and important sources of history, writing of biologies of king and dynastic histories mark an important step in the Indian historiographies. Now see, many travelers has come to India and from other countries. They travel and they came to India to know about India, and they have written many stories, not stories, what reality they have seen in India, they have written in their book, which mark a very important Indian historiography. Okay, this mark and very, when they are coming to our country, we will write only the good thing of our country, but when they come, they travel to each place of India and then they write about the history of the India, which is very important in marking the Indian historiography. Harsh Charitra, written in 7th century CE by Bana Bhatta, is King Harsha's biography. Now, one of the book, the name of the book is Harsh Charit, which is written in 7th century. Okay, Harsh Charit is written in 7th century and it is written 7th century CE and it is written by Bana Bhatta, and this is King Harsha's biography. What do you mean by biography? Biography means the life story of a person who the story is written by somebody else. The story is not written by that particular person. It is a life story of a particular person which story is written by somebody else. So Harsh Charitra is written by Bana Bhatta in 7th century CE, and in this Harsh Charit we will study about King Harsha's biography. Okay, we will study about King Harsha's. Bana Bhatta has written this Harsh Charit in 7th century CE. It portrays a realistic pictures of social, economic, political, religious and cultural life of the people during King Harsha's time. Okay, so in this book what Bana Bhatta has written, he has written about the social life, the economic life, the political, the religious and the cultural life during the king's time. Which king's times? King Harsha's time. All this he has written, he has included in his book. The name of the book is Harsh Charit. Now we will see this inscription, this is inscripted. The copper plate was found at Sohagora district, Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, one district is there in Uttar Pradesh, and the name of the district is Gorakhpur. And in Gorakhpur, in Sohagora, we have found a copper plate. Okay, a copper plate was found at that time, and it was during Mauryan period. The inscription written in this copper plate was Brahmi script. Okay, the inscription that is written on this copper plate is Brahmi script. The symbol known as in railing and mountains. These are there is a tree on the mountains. If you have your textbook, you will see in that. See, one tree is there. Okay, mountains are there. At the beginning of the inscription, that occurs a punched mark coins. Now coins are there. Okay, many things are there. Other symbol which look like a structure erected from 4 pillars. You can see here. Okay, you can see here 4 pillars are there, students. Okay, we will see what is that. These are the symbols. It is supposed to indicate a granary. What is granary? The inscription records a royal order that the grain stored in the granary should be distributed carefully. Okay, it is supposed to be suggestive of precaution taken in the times of a famine. Now, as I have told you, you have seen the dome shape. Okay, that dome shape was built. It is a granary. Granary means where grains are stored. Okay, on that copper plate, one 4 pillar was built, dome shaped 4 pillar, which is used for storing grains. It is at the time. It is very previous back at the time of our ancestors, but by seeing that copper plate now, it tells us that this was the granary where grains were stored. One room is there where grains were stored, so that at the times of the wars, at the times of the famines, okay, when there is no food grains, we will store these grains first, and when there is famine or when there is war, at the war time, you know, at that time wars were carried for a long period of time, so we can store these grains and we can use these grains at that time. So this 4 dome shaped pillar was a granary inscripted on the copper plate. Now we will see, we have seen the ancient historiography of India. Now we will see the historiography in medieval period. This is our second point. So, the style of writing Ratna, Raj Tarangini, the history of Kashmir by Kalhana. Okay, Raj Tarangini is a book. Okay, Raj Tarangini is a book, and it is written by Kalhana, which tells about the history of Kashmir. It was written, it is the time of 12th century CE. It is quite close to the concept of modern historiography. Means it is of medieval, this historiography is medieval historiography, but this is very close to modern historiography. It is written in 12th century CE, 12th century Common Era, and it is very close to modern historiography, and the name of the book is Raj Tarangini, which is written by Kalhana in 12th century, and this book tells about the history of Kashmir. Now, got it, students? Kalhana himself says that he wrote this text after critically examining various sources. Okay, what Kalhana is telling, he has not written this book like that only. He has gone through many sources. Okay, he has gone through many things, and after critically examining everything, he has written this book, like inscriptions, coins, remains of ancient monument, dynastic record, and local tradition. What he has gone through, he has gone through various inscription. As I have told you, at that time many things were inscripted, so he has gone through all the inscriptions, coins. Each king, whenever they were coming into power, they were having their own coins, so he has kept in mind the coins also, remains of ancient monuments. Whenever we are digging anything, or whenever we are getting anything which belongs to ancient period, the buildings, the forts and all, he has gone through that also. Dynastic, which king was ruling at that time, what was the local tradition, what was the culture at that time, he has kept in mind everything, then he has see, coins, inscription, monuments, dynastic record, local tradition, what was the culture at that time. He has kept everything in mind, and then he has written this book. The name of the book is Raj Tarangini. The medieval India, the historians in the courts of in the medieval India, the historians in the courts of Muslim rulers. Now you can see this. Okay, this is a court. Okay, the king is sitting and the rulers and the courtyards are standing there. This pictures belongs to the Muslim rulers. Were influenced by Arabic and Persian historiography. The Muslim rulers or the historians, when the Muslim rulers were ruling at that time, the historians were very much influenced by the language Arabic and Persian. These two languages were among the Ziauddin Barani holds an important place. Now, among this Muslim ruler, Ziauddin Barani was a person who hold a very important place at that time. At which time? At medieval time, medieval history. In Tariq-e-Firoz Shahi, book written by him, he has stated the purpose of historiography. Okay, Ziauddin Barani has written a book known as Tariq-e-Firoz Shahi. According to him, the historian's duty is not limited only recording of the ruler's valors and policies of welfare, but he should also write the ruler's failing and innocent policies. Now, one book which is written by Ziauddin Barani, and the name of the book is Tariq-e-Firoz Shahi. He told that writing only about the good deeds or the courage, writing only about the courageous ruler is not the duty of the historians. Whenever the historians are writing about any particular person or anything, he should see the positive side also as well as the negative side also. Means whatever the rulers, when they were ruling, what good deeds they have done as well as what were their failures. The historian should include the failures of the rulers also. Okay, and about the incorrect policies. Incorrect policies means what? Whatever they were doing. Okay, whatever policies they were making, whether the policies were good or not, we should write about that also. Barani further says that the historian should also take into consideration the impact of teaching of wise, the learned, and the saint of the cultural life. See, at that time, at the medieval time, the kings, okay, they were keeping several people who were very much experienced. Okay, they were teaching. They were learned men. They were saints. Teaching of the wise. Teaching of the wise means where they were telling the kings, or they were guiding the kings. Okay, the people, the kings and all were totally dependent on these people. Whatever they were saying, they were whatever this wise person, learned man, and the saints, whatever they were saying, that only they were keeping into mind and they were following. So Ziauddin Barani has told we should include all these people also. We should. It is the duty of the historian is not only to write about the kings. Okay, it is their duty is to write about all these persons also, because they have also contributed lots. Thus, Barani expanded the scope of historiography. For the historians in the Mughal courts, praising the emperor and exhibiting of loyalty became more important. Now see, at that time what the people used to do, they were praising the kings. Okay, who were the courtiers and all, they were praising the kings. They were the loyal person. So at that time they were very important for the king. The one who were praising the king were very important for the king. The custom of adding suitable poetic quotes and beautiful picture was introduced. During the medieval period, what happened? The poetic quotes means before starting the poet, we are writing different quotes, which is, as we can say, saying. Okay, saying, giving us some information in the 2 lines. 2 to 4 lines. This came into existence in medieval period. Then beautiful pictures were also introduced. Painting and all also were introduced, so that people were attracted towards that. Babur, the founder of Mughal Empire. Babur is the founder of Mughal Empire. He has written an autobiography entitled Tuzuk-e-Babri. Now, biography means a person is not writing about the life story himself, but some other is writing about his life. Okay, the stories is written, the story of a particular person is written by somebody else. That is known as biography. Autobiography means the person himself is writing about his story. So Babur has written his own autobiography, and the name of that autobiography is Tuzuk-e-Babri. It contains a description of battle fought by him. In this, we can see that Babur has written whatever battle he has fought. He has written about that. This Tuzuk-e-Babri contains all this. Babur also recorded description about his battle. You can see he has given description about his. Babur also recorded the minute observation of various regions. Now, wherever Babur has visited, okay, wherever Babur has visited, he has written about that story also. He has recorded about the various and cities traveled by him, including the local economic, custom and flora. Flora and fauna means wherever he has traveled, he has written about the particular. He has given in description about everything in his book. The name of the book is Tuzuk-e-Babri. He has also written about local economic, custom, flora and fauna. Flora means he has also written about the life of the local people, the economy, the culture, and flora means what? The means green plantation about that time. Okay, about animals, about plantation, greenery, trees and all. He has written about all such things in his book Tuzuk-e-Babri. Abu Fazl Akbarnama is very important from the viewpoint of critical historiography. Now, Abu Fazl has written Akbarnama. It is very important in historiography, in learning historiography of medieval period. This Akbarnama of Abu Fazl is very important. His method of collecting authentic historical documents. Authentic means original, and then scrutiny is looked upon as devoid of bias and hence realistic. Means he has this Abu Fazl, what he has done in his Akbarnama, the life story of Akbar. In Akbarnama, he has written the life story of Akbar. So he has critically examined everything by critical observation of anything without any false information. Each and everything is realistic in this. By looking all that things, he has written this Akbarnama. Bakar. Now we will study what is Bakar. Bakar is an important type of historical documents of medieval time. What is Bakar? Bakar is a historical documents which is of medieval time. That is known as Bakar. It contains ecologies of heroes and stories of historic events, battle, lives of great men. In this Bakar, we will study about ecologies means the stories of the rulers or the kings. Okay, it is a story, it is a speech, it is a story of the particular person, of heroes and stories of historical events, battle, life of great men. In this Bakar, what we will see that stories of different kings or rulers, okay, brave men, battles fought at that time, historical events, whatever historical events have taken place, life of great men, the people, the courageous people, the stories of the courageous people, all these are included in Bakar. Marathi Bakar are of various type. Now, it was also written in different languages. Now, among that Marathi Bakar, we will study first about Marathi Bakar. Marathi Bakar, Sabasad. In that Sabasad Bakar was written by Krishnaji Anand Sabasad. Okay, in Marathi Bakar, one of the Bakar, name of the Bakar is Sabhasad Bakar. In that Bakar, in that historical documents, you will only study about Krishnaji Anand Sabhasad. During the region of Chhatrapati Rajaram Maharaj. Now, that Bakar belongs to Chhatrapati Rajaram Maharaj. Which Bakar? Sabhasad Bakar. It is an important Bakar for getting information about the rule of Chhatrapati Maharaj. When we will study this Sabhasad Bakar, in that you will study about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. You will get all the information about the rule of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in Sabhasad Bakar, which is in Marathi. You can see Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Now, Babu Sahebanchi Bakar. Describe the Battle of Panipat. When you will study study this Bakar, you will get the information about the Battle of Panipat in that Bakar. Another Bakar is entitled Panipatanchi Bakar. It is also of the same event. That Bakar as well as this Bakar, both the Bakar will tell you about the Battle of Panipat, how the Battle of Panipat has taken place, what has been happened, and in that battle you will study all everything in details in both of these Bakar. Now another Bakar, Panipatanchi Bakar, I have told you. Holkar and Kapir provide us information about the Holkars, about the Marathi people. Okay, so Holkaranchi Kapiyat is one of the Bakars in which you will study about the Marathas. Okay, the Marathi people and the contribution of Maratha rule. As we have seen, Maratha rule also has came. So we will, in this Bakars, you will see in Holkaranchi Bakar, you will study about the Holkars, about the Maratha rules. Bakar can be divided into various types, such as biographies of kings, dynastic history, events. Now, this Bakar is also, this historical documents is also of various types. For example, in some of the Bakars you will find biographies of king, okay, about the stories of the king, about the dynastic history, how the dynasty has different dynasty has come and how they have ruled. You will find in this Bakar. Events, at that time what events were taking place, different events have occurred. Okay, so you will study about all these things. So Bakars are of different types. History of a sect, autobiographies, grievance. Regarding grievance based on mythologies and state administration by king. You will in some of the Bakar you will study about the history of the sect, about a particular sector, okay, about the particular people. For example, Hinduism, then Muslims, about different sect. Some Bakar belong to history of a sect. Autobiographies. In some of the Bakars you will study about the autobiographies which the king, what were the false things at that time, the stories, mythological stories, the administration, how the people were doing the administration at that time, how they were keeping the people, how the people were at that time, they were happy, they were sad. You will then mythologies, state administration, I have told you. Now, do you know? Al-Biruni wrote in Arabic about the Indian knowledge and social life. Now, Al-Biruni is a writer who has wrote in Arabic language about the Indian social life. How is the social life of the people? This Al-Biruni has wrote in his book in Arabic. In the following period, many books about India were written by foreign scholars. Now, not only Indian, but at that time, in the medieval time, many foreign scholars were also there who has written many of the books. In the following period, many books of India were written. Among them, we will name some books. Okay, name of the book is name of the person is Hasan Nizami. He has written Tajul Ma Asib. This Hasan Nizami has written. Hasan Nizami has written Tajul Ma'asir. Minaj Siraj has written Tabaqati Nasiri. Okay. Various books were written by Amir Khusro. Okay, the name of some of the books are Tizuke Temuri. It is the autobiography of Temur. He has written. Okay, Temur has written. Temur Lang was also known Amir Tamir, who were also as now Tariq Mubarak Shahi. It was written by Yahya bin Ahmad Sarhinti. Their accounts provide us with historic information of Sultanate period. All this also tell about as I have told you, Muslim rulers were there. Okay, so it also give us information about the Sultanate period. Accounts of foreign traveler in India are also important. As I have told you, many foreign travelers have come to India, so their writing is also very important to know about the Indian history, what they feel about the Indian history. Among them are some of the travelers are Ibn Battuta, Abdul Razak and Marco Polo. These are some of the Niccolo Conti, Barbosa, Domingos Pais. These are the travelers. Okay, these are the names of the travelers who have traveled to India, foreign travelers who have came to India. Now, these are the historians: Ishwar Das Nagar, Bhimsen Saxena, Kafi Khan, Niccolo Manusi. These are the historians. Okay, these are the historians. Okay, during the medieval period. Where among the historians of Aurangzeb time, these historians belongs to Aurangzeb time, whose accounts are important sources of Mughal history. Their writing is very important accounts during the Mughal history. Now our next topic is historiography in the modern period, which we will study in the next lecture. So in this lecture we have studied about the historiography. In this lecture, we have studied about the historiography during the ancient period and historiography in the medieval period of Indian history. Okay, in the last chapter we have studied about modern history. In this chapter we will study about Indian history. I hope students you have understood well. In the next lecture we will study about the historiography in the modern period and Indian historiography and various ideological and framework. I hope you have understood well. So thank you students.